Now, welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. Before we get into this video, I need you to subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about the video. So, I came across this article, and I like having fun on here and just sort of joking around and stuff. But I found this article from the New York Post. It's written by Phil Mushnick. If you don't know who Phil Mushnick is, he's just a very strange guy. He's a TV critic of all the sports, broadcasts that happen here, either on the radio, on TV, and he's just a negative guy. Everything is negative with him. He never writes anything very nice about anybody, quite frankly. But he did write an interesting article, I guess last week. And I thought it was interesting because I kind of agree with him on this point that he has in this video. So here we go. The headline: John Smoltz and other analysts make an MLB broadcast intolerable. Now, the first part, I agree with him. John Smoltz is terrible. And of course, he was a Brave, and that means he's doubly terrible. The article goes, not too long ago, it was a simple, steady source of pleasure. You turned on a ball game, sat back, and enjoyed. Now, seeing what baseball has become and how it's televised, it's too often a case of alienation of affection, whatever that means. John Smoltz has been afflicting Fox's telecast since he was hired in 2014, soon to become its lead MLB analyst. Yet, through several top production executives, none reached the obvious and painful conclusion that Smoltz blunts the viewers' senses with his detailed post-mortem forensic examination of every effing pitch. I agree with him. Why and how can Fox possibly think we enjoy this? You tell me. I don't get it. What does a foul ball or foul ball serve as a forward to a seminar on why when you're not being schooled on spin rates? Let me tell you something about John Smoltz. He is by far the most boring analyst on TV today. He is you'd be better off watching paint dry. He is about as boring as it gets. Okay, he looks like a boring guy, and he is a boring guy. He admits it in the telecast. I watched the telecast. I think it was during the World Baseball Classic, and he was on. He talked about how he doesn't listen to music. He doesn't know anything about music. And it was so bad that when he played and was the closer for the Braves, he said that he didn't even know what music they were playing for his entrance. I guess they were doing that. If I remember right, the first time I ever heard an entrance for a player was for John Franco. He had Johnny Be Good. I don't know what Smoltz' entrance, but he didn't know what his entrance was either. And they goofed on him, I guess, in Atlanta about how they gave him an entrance. He didn't really like it, so they had to change it. So he's a pretty boring broadcaster, and I totally agree with Mushnick here. And the article continues on. It starts complaining about SNY and Keith Burnett. Keith is great, and they complaining about Steve Gelbs. Steve Gelbs is not a broadcaster, but to get back to, he's just a sideline reporter. And he even says I'm not a play-by-play guy. But to get back to Smoltz, he is about as boring of a broadcaster as you can possibly get. He might be the worst analyst in baseball today because he's boring. He's not funny. God bless him. The late Tim McCarver would be rolls over his grave listening to this guy. You're not getting Tim McCarver anecdotes from this guy. Tim was entertaining. Tim knew it all, and he let you know it. This guy, you don't know. You just, wake up, and it's like about as boring as it gets. There's nothing funny about. And I would mention that they goofed on him during the Mets broadcast when the Mets were in Atlanta last week. The Met broadcasters were goofing on Smoltz, saying that he was the one that talked the most in the booth. They had these old Braves players in there, and he was the guy that they said that talked the most. The problem with Smoltz now is that he talks a lot, is that he talks about nothing important. He's boring. This is the kind of guy that if I saw him at a party and he started talking to me, I'd be like, okay, all right. And I would slowly all right, see you later. I wouldn't even say see you later. I would just sort of, I would disappear. That's basically what I would do. That's how Smoltz is as a broadcaster. He makes you want to walk away from the TV. And he is the type of guy that you saw him in a party, you'd walk away from him. He's the type that tells you a story without a point. He's the one that tells you a story that really, nothing really important. So, and of course, never forget, folks, he's a Brave. And Braves and their fans, they're the most toxic. The Braves fans are the most toxic online as you could possibly imagine. You would be surprised to hear that. And they're very, like, self-conscious. And this is just another example. It's something that he was a great player. Actually, you know, if you think about it, he had 2 careers. One as a starter and one as a reliever. He kind of got into the Hall of Fame based off the fact that people compared it to Dennis Eckersley. He's no Dennis Eckersley. And I would mention about Eckersley, he was a good broadcaster. This guy sucks. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. John the Sucks Smoltz. He sucks. He's terrible. Let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hood too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.